something that you were saying about security, about the question of whether or not this is also not 100% related to blockchain, whether my webcam starts spying on me, whether this microphone that I have here from Amazon is actually listening to everything that I'm saying and so on. We're seeing that closed sourced technology, like be it hardware or be it software, is being abused by security agencies, by hackers, and so on. So I personally also see a certain kind of first a proof of concept with the blockchain that open source is better in a lot of regards when it comes to reliable, not gameable systems. Blockchain as opposed to Visa, PayPal, and so on, where they literally make 50% gain on the revenue, right? Profit on the revenue. So we see that we have here a fair market, a transparent, and this is only possible because of open source technologies. And I think that with the movement to more devices connected that are even more crucial for our daily life, the society will also take a different stance on the value of open source. And in my personal picture for the future, like the dream vision that I have, is that it will be illegal to sell any closed source software or hardware. And that if we cannot outlaw this, then we'll have the possibility to own our devices, to understand what they are doing, and then also the question of security will be much less interesting because we are able to solve it properly and understand what is happening and what we're downloading, what we're installing, and all this.
That is interesting. Let's take a sidetrack to one thing you were saying. Own your devices. With proprietary systems today, you're not owning the license or owning the device, you're licensing it. John Deere tractors are not owned but licensed. And this is because the DMCA in the United States, the European Union Copyright Directive, or the Infosys here in Berlin, here in Europe, which says that the copyright monopoly laws say exactly this, unless you have a technical protection, which you may not circumvent regardless of what that technical protection says. So effectively, the manufacturers selling something can set whatever terms they like, and it's become illegal to circumvent those terms. And which obviously has a huge impact on what you're saying in terms of owning our devices. Because if you're not allowed to tinker with them, legally not allowed to tinker with them, then you have this entire proprietary mess. And I mean, most countries in the world are running software where a foreign power is holding a kill switch. We saw that with WikiLeaks. Like, when WikiLeaks was starting to embarrass the United States government, some senator just made a phone call to Visa and MasterCard, and all of a sudden they were put out of business. They could no longer receive donations.
So, I mean, we do not know exactly what happened, but we can say that the system failed because later on we saw that this was unjust. It was corrected by a court, and Bitcoin was there to help out with this. It has multiple implications. I mean, there's a resilience part, and we're also not sure what we're living in a democracy, and democracy is kind of like the tyranny of the majority, right? So the question would be whether the majority in that case would unfortunately wanted also to support it to block this or so. We do not know, right? So in this scenario, actually the open source technology blockchain would actually be able to even prevail against the tyranny of the majority, which is even more interesting, but not what I wanted to say, right? Or what this specifically is about. First, it's about that you understand your device, you can improve it yourself, you can change it yourself, and I think that we will see more attacks on proprietary devices. They'll be even worse than we had this with WannaCry or whatever, and people will wake up. They'll understand that this nice and shiny iPhone, which is like you're being like a goldfish put in the glass and you can only go in circles, you're not allowed to swim somewhere else, right? But it's nice and shiny and everything is being taken care of, that once this device can be remotely destroyed and you have to buy a new one or so, then you're starting to feel like not so good anymore about it. And I think more and more people are understanding this, and then they'll say, okay, I want to have a Linux device because then some kind of expert can look at it and tell me what actually this device is doing all day. And so to a certain degree, I'm embracing the fact that we now see people abusing these security holes. I personally also think that they're partly put there on purpose to have backdoors and so on. And more people are abusing them in large scale, leading to an awakening with people in the society who before didn't think about the impact of closed source technology.
That there needs to be something bad happening to highlight this as the problem it is.
Exactly. It's like nuclear energy or something like that. Yeah? If everything works fine, everybody's happy. But if a power plant blows up in your neighborhood, you're not so in favor of nuclear energy anymore.